welcome to DIY Hummingbird. My name is Jeff, and I'm going to talk about the sound focus for the diphthong oo, the pucker to O shape. So pucker and O shape oo, right? So oo. So, so for this diphthong, especially in the Californian dialect, a lot of people, especially make the pucker extremely long compared to the O shape. So the natural balance would be a long pucker, and then a very short O shape. So you'll get words like you, right? So long pucker, and then you gradually move to O shape. So yeah, so in order to emphasize this balance of sounds, I think it's important to show the tongue and the lips movement very clearly to the students. And so many students move their lips very quickly to O shape, like so the balance is a bit strange. And so I'll show two examples of how I teach the word you and when linking is involved, like when we teach you are, right? The first part for the keyword you. So the way I usually do it is to use my hands to show the movement of my tongue, and the other hand to show the movement of my lips. So sometimes if you're teaching online, the student may be taking lessons from a phone, so they can't really see your actual mouth very well. So if you use your hands, that's a little bit clearer. So the first part is the yeah sound, right? So the movement of E location to C location, yeah. So I move with my tongue, with my right hand, I would lower my hand to show that I'm lowering my tongue in my mouth, right? So I keep the pucker. This is my pucker, and so I lower my tongue, you. And as I'm doing that, I'll show that I'm keeping the pucker without moving it. Okay, so that the students don't go to O shape too quickly. So get the students to lower their tongue without moving their lips. So they'll get the you sound. This is the pucker sound, right? Which is the longest sound in the word. And then once their pucker is stable, then I'll tell them that they can move to O shape then. So they'll move their tongue down, you. Once that's stable, ooh, right? So they'll say you in two parts at first. And then as you're teaching levels 3 and above, and the students start doing linking, sometimes that's also a problem. So when they say you are, they might go to O shape too quickly, and they'll say you are, right? That happens a lot. And so the same thing applies. So if I move my tongue, I'll tell them that the O shape is as short as possible, so as short as possible. And so if I move my tongue down, you, and then I go to R, it goes usually you are, and then I'll show them, see my lips are moving only a little bit. So I'm not going to O shape, for very long. It's very short. And so I usually get, so you are, right? So once they practice a few times, hopefully they'll get used to it. And then also, if that still doesn't work, or the students just not used to that kind of movement, I would use the IPA, and I would show them the symbols for the word. And the symbol for the pucker is the U with a line across it, right? So I would copy and paste it a few times, and so get them to do some karaoke thing, So, and then if I show them like how long the pucker sound should be, then we can kind of do it slowly with emphasis on the long sounds. In this case, pucker. So they'll say you are. After a few times of practice, probably get it. Yeah, so another thing to keep in mind is sometimes the students may not be used to moving to and from the pucker position because it's like they're using muscles that they are never had to use when speaking Japanese. And so sometimes moving from pucker to O shape, they can't do it gradually the way we do it. We can say you, pretty easily. But that may not be true for Hummingbird students. And so I would yeah, I would suggest that the students, if they have time outside of class, they try just doing the movement to kind of develop those muscles, going back and forth between pucker and oshi, so that they can move the lips gradually between O shape and pucker, and not like a robot, like that, because that's I think how we teach it in the beginner classes. And also, I also find that showing the IPA is pretty useful. So if you have time, you could brush up on your IPA knowledge. And once you get used to it, you can type the IPA pretty quickly. And a lot of students appreciate that. So I gave an example of you are, but that applies to most other examples. For if you say you will, for example, so I would remind the students that for all diphthongs, the first sound is very long and the second sound extremely short. And so it goes the same way for other sorts of blinking, like you will, right? So you want to lower your tongue, you, and then keep your pucker. And then the O shape as short as possible. You will, right? So will, the next vowel is short I, which is in bass. So you want to go from pucker, a little bit of O shape to bass. Okay, so that's the balance, the natural balance. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope to share my experience more with you in the future. And good luck in your lessons.